Greetings everyone. Today is May 12th, 2014, 2 days before May 14th. I have been watching May 14th get closer and closer, and I'm watching what's happening in the world, and it does not seem to be lining up with May 14th. So I went back into Stellarium and I started looking around, and I've come to the conclusion that the sign on May 14th is the start of a much bigger sign. The May 14th sign was one of the first signs that I found, and when I found the January 13th sign 7 years later, it pretty much solidified in my mind that that was the sign we were looking for, so I did not keep looking around at the same time to see if there was anything else. Sorry about that, but let me show you what I have found. First of all, let's talk about this May 14th sign up here and why I think it is so important. It has a nice little sign in the heavens that happens on this day, and it has all of this stuff happening on this day also. Now I want to point out that Israel's 66th birthday is on May 14th every year on the Gregorian calendar, but on the Hebrew calendar it is on a different day, and they have already celebrated their 66th birthday. Now 2,520 days, which is a 7-year period, after the May 14th sign is this January 13th sign. Now I want to remind you why I think this sign fits so well for the end of the tribulation. Venus, which represents Jesus in the heavens, Revelation 22:16, is in the rider on the horse over here, which is the constellation of Sagittarius. In Revelation chapter 19, at the very end of the tribulation, Jesus comes back riding a white horse. And at this time, the beast and the false prophet are thrown into hell, and Satan is bound for the 1,000 years. So back to the sign, here we see Jesus riding the white horse at the same time that we see the end of Satan, the Antichrist, and the false prophet. Now the sun and the moon, I believe, are just markers in this sign. But what I really liked about this sign was Jesus on the white horse and the three in their end. Now let's talk about the new stuff that I have found. 12 days after January 13th, on January 25th, I have found another sign. Here's the sign we see 12 days later. It's almost the exact same sign. We have Venus in Sagittarius, and we have the 3 in the goat. That's Capricorn. In this sign, the moon and Mercury have moved on, and the sun has moved over and is now playing the fiery red dragon again. Now we can look at this from two different perspectives now. We can look at it from the same perspective as the false prophet and the Antichrist being thrown into hell and Satan getting thrown into the pit. And we can also look at it from the point of this is all talking about just Satan. We've got King Fiery Dragon Satan. Now I want to point out that it does say the 26th here. That's my date in California, but it is still the 25th on different parts of the earth. So here we have almost the same exact sign. It's just 12 days later. Now, why is this relevant? And that's because if we count back 2,520 days from this sign, we wind up on the 25th and 26th of May, which is Day of Ascension. Day of Ascension is when Jesus ascended into heaven, and this day is 12 days after our May 14th sign. This cannot be coincidence. We have a very strong day for the start of the tribulation and a very strong day for the start of the tribulation. And then 2,520 days after each one of them, we've got a big strong sign for the end of the tribulation. Both of these days, the 26th and the 14th, are working through the 17-hour days to get to those final signs in the heavens. Now I have not found any sign in the heaven on this day. I think something's there, but I just have not found it yet. Now I also want to point out that this day is Memorial Day on the Gregorian calendar. Wouldn't that be a memory if the rapture happened on that day? For those of you who are new here, we should also talk about the number 12. The number 12 in the Bible is very significant. It's mentioned 176 times throughout the Old and New Testament. There are the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 apostles, the 12 foundations, and the 12 gates on the New Jerusalem. So don't think that the 12 days between these two dates are a coincidence, nor are the ones at the end between the two signs in the heavens. The last thing I want to talk about is what happens if we pass May 14th. If we go to May 15th up here, this goes to January 14th. If we go to the 16th, this would go to the 15th. And every single day we go past that, this moves one day further. The problem is we can't go past this date, and this date is less than 30 days from this date. That's not to say that if we pass to the 15th of May, that this sign and this sign go away. On the contrary, they stay here as well as these day counts. What we have to do is we have to add one more day count and the new information that we have found. So to be honest, I believe I was wrong about May 14th. I do believe we are going past it at least 12 days and maybe a little bit more. Pentecost comes up in the first part of June, but I haven't found anything in the heavens or any kind of day counts associated with that. I may re-release this video with more information as I find it in the future. So I have to ask, what do you think I have found here? We've got two start dates, two end dates. Both of them fit really nice for the tribulation period, and they're 12 days apart. I'm going to make a guess as to what I think this is, and I'm going to ask you this guess in a question. Could this be some kind of countdown?